Just got a new apartment. I'm gonna leave the floor where walk around this beach naked. And nobody can tell me shit. A girl just bought some rice for decoration. Hey guys, I'm Mary, and welcome to the series premiere of my vlog. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about my experiences moving to New York City straight out of undergrad for graduate school based on some user generated questions. All right, here we go. So the first question is, how are you affording it? And I feel like that's a really good question to ask because New York City is expensive, okay? Like, they tax for everything up here. They're even charging for plastic bags now. Like, that's ridiculous. I understand we're trying to save the environment and everything, but dang. Okay, so to answer this question, I'm going to just keep it a buck. For one, I do get a refund check to school, and honestly, I'm pretty sure that's how most college students in New York City are paying for like off-campus apartments. If they're not staying in the dorm, they're probably using their refund check. I also had work study, so that was another like good little source of like pocket change to pay for groceries, just little like knickknacks and stuff that I wanted to do in the city. The Metro card in itself is a bill. I do a lot of traveling back and forth between campus, work, and just sightseeing around the city. So I got a monthly unlimited one, which basically pretty much covers you for an entire month of unlimited rides. It doesn't matter how many times you get on, and that's about $127 a month. So that's a bill in itself. Second question is, what was it like adjusting? Whew. If you guys follow me on social media, I'm going to put the links at the end of this video or somewhere in here. But if you follow me, I'm pretty sure you have been keeping up with like my mental breakdowns and complaints and frustrations about being new in this city and feeling isolated and lonely. And I think that's probably was like the hardest part, just trying to adjust to being in an area like New York City that's so incredibly crowded, but you can still feel so lonely. Particularly for me, because I'm from the South. I'm from South Carolina, and everywhere you go in South Carolina, it doesn't matter where you are. People are like, hey, how you doing? Having a nice day. That Southern hospitality thing. Whereas like up here, people really do mind their business. Like the subway could be packed during rush hour. I'm short, so my face is pretty much like wedged in between somebody's back. And it's like, I'm really physically close to you right now, but we're not connecting in any way. And that's wild to me. So like my first semester was really, really rough. Like my first 3 months, I hated it. I wanted to move home so badly. I spent a lot of time in my apartment, like depressed and sad and crying, like, oh my gosh, did I make the right decision coming to New York? Should I have taken a year off and waited until, a little bit more, I guess, mentally stable? Will I ever get out of this funk? I would say that I'm definitely think I'm doing better this semester, at least socially. I'm getting out more. I'm also putting myself out more. So, I'm engaging with people in my program. I'm learning how to build those connections because I pretty much had to like start completely over. Like all my friends from undergrad, I'm not around them anymore. It's not like I can go down the hall and like see my best friends, or I don't have a roommate. So I already lost like that instant connection you have with living with someone. So I pretty much had to really rebuild relationships all over again. And that was hard. It made me feel like, first day of college all over again, where I don't know anybody and I'm a fish out of water. And, everyone's calling me country because of my accent. So that's probably like the biggest thing. It was definitely a culture shock. So the next question is, how did I end up in New York City in the first place? And I apologize if I'm swaying. It's like really hard for me to sit still and like talk to a camera because I feel like I'm talking to myself. So it's like I'm trying to express all this excess energy I have. But to answer the question, just to give you a little bit of background information about me, I did my undergraduate degree at Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the Johnson C. Smith University, also known as the birthplace of black college football. So don't ever try to do us just because we a small HBCU, because y'all would not exist without us, and that's on period, okay? And while I was there, I did my bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies with concentrations in psychology and criminology, and I was a member of the McNair Scholars Program, which is basically a federally funded program that trains low income and first generation students to do graduate level coursework and eventually go on to the PhD level. So, one of the requirements of being in that program, besides doing like your own research project, is that you have to apply to graduate school. And during my application process, I knew I wanted to go to a school in like a big city. Even as a little kid, I've always dreamed of like living out my early 20s, or just like not even my early 20s, my 20s in general, in like this really big city where, I've seen on TV where everyone's living their best lives. They're doing all these amazing and great things and meeting all these amazing people. So I didn't apply to like no schools that were in college towns. I applied to Georgia State, which is in Atlanta. Emory is also in Atlanta. UCLA, NYU, and another school, but I don't remember. But those are the four that I know I applied to for sure. And every single one of them, except NYU, were like, nah, sis, you're not good enough. How about you take a year off and try again? Because I'm going to be honest, my GRE score was trash. Like, I studied for it and everything. And when I got my test results, they were basically like, you average at best, honey. And I was like, damn, maybe graduate school is not for me, but I'm going to apply anyway and see what they say. And all of them said no. And I remember feeling like really, really defeated and sad because I was like, I feel like a failure, as someone that's always been like an academic and someone who's always been very interested in like learning and just being in like an academic setting. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now if I can't go to school? I'm not about to go back to South Carolina and work. Like, that's dead. So randomly, I think it was like sometime in January, I get an email from NYU and they're like, congratulations, you've been accepted. And I immediately start like, I'm freaking out, I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got accepted to NYU. But then it hits me, I'm like, yo, how am I gonna afford NYU? It's like mad expensive. So then I continue reading the letter and I see that they offer me a partial scholarship. And I'm like, bet. If I can get a partial, I'm pretty sure I can get some other outside scholarships to cover it. At this point, I'm like, I don't even care about taking out the loans. I just know I don't want to just go straight into the workforce. And I'm not knocking anyone that does. I just know for me, that wasn't the right decision. So that's how I ended up in New York City. Apartment hunting was the hard part because I was like, I know nothing about New York, so I didn't know where I want to live. I was just like, whatever's closer to NYU is fine with me, but Manhattan rent is OD. So luckily, my dad has a friend whose sister stays in the Bronx. And they were like, we just turned our basement into an apartment. She can have it. And I was like, okay, cool, great. And that is the room you see me in now. So that's how I ended up in New York City. The next question is, what was it like once you got to NYU? I have two words to sum that up: imposter syndrome. Oh my gosh. I not only am I a first generation student, I'm also a low income student. And NYU, there's a running gag that the NYU stands for New York Unemployed because none of the students there work. And it's because like New York NYU has like a lot of international students and they got big money. Like if you think you can dress, wait until you see the international students, okay? Because they be having on the Balenciagas, Givenchy, Dolce and Gabbana, Gucci, something designer every day. Like I'll be in the elevator like, dang, that jacket fire. And then I'll look a little bit more close. I'm like, dang, that jacket designer, and it's probably $2,000. I definitely cannot afford that. But that's like the joke at the school that no one there works because like their parents are just paying for their tuition and their housing. So I felt really out of place coming from like a low income family. And I remember during orientation, like we played bingo as an icebreaker. So we had to find someone in the room that fit each characteristic on the bingo card. And one of the choices was like, name someone in this room that's a first generation college student. And everyone in the room put down me because I was the only one that was in that space at the time that was a first generation college student. And everyone was like, really? And that's the first time like I really felt like the imposter syndrome setting in because it really made me think like, okay, everyone around me has parents that went to school, have parents that are doctors and nurses and lawyers and professors and all of these really great qualities. And I'm not knocking my parents' careers at all. My mom's a housekeeper, my dad's a pool technician, and they always made sure that, I had food in my mouth and a roof over my head. And I love them for that and I respect them for it. But I couldn't help but feel like, am I good enough to be in this space? Because everyone around me has done so much more than I could ever even imagine. Like they were listing off all these places they've traveled to, all these amazing jobs they've worked for, and all these amazing opportunities, and all these like really big extravagant things. And I'm like, I went to Dubai once, but my school paid for it. And that was my first time going out the country. So I'm like, does it even really count as a vacation? But I had to sit back and really think that, okay, yes, their parents went to college. Yes, their parents have money. Yes, their parents did this, that, and the third. But my country black ass is in the same place as them. So I obviously am worth it. And I'm going to do that shit just as good as them, if not better. And I really had to tell myself that every day. Like it became a mantra every day of me getting in the mirror and saying, I belong here. I'm worth it. I'm just as good, if not better, than everybody else that's around me. I believe in me if no one else does. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm pretty sure you can. But those colorful sticky notes on my mirror are the positive affirmations that I started telling myself because it was really starting to affect me mentally. Like, I didn't talk to anybody because I was like, I can't relate to no one here. I was always depressed and sad, and I felt so out of place that it was really like my mental sickness started manifesting physically. Like I had headaches all the time. My body was always hurting. I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I gotta start having the confidence of a mediocre white man and start acting like my shit don't stink either. And so once I started doing that, I really realized that just because they may have had a little bit more, that doesn't make them better than me. And just because I had less, that doesn't make me less than. So that concludes the end of my first vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you so much for sticking with me through all of like the and the likes. Ooh, I just said one, dang, and all of the other little imperfections. This is my first video, but I really wanted to make it because a lot of people asked me to just what's it like trying to adjust to grad school? What's it like moving over 500 miles away from home to a city you've never ever been to? So I just really wanted to make this video to kind of answer those questions and ease some people's fears that you can make it and you can do it. It's definitely going to be hard, but hey, at least I'm trying. The song you heard in the beginning is New Apartment by Ari Lennox. It's off of her recently debuted album, Shea Butter Baby. And I feel like that song pretty much sums up my first 6 months in the city, how I thought it was going to be just like the movies. You know, I'm going on carriage rides in Central Park. I'm living my best life. I'm drinking bottomless mimosas at brunch. Every day's a party. And it wasn't like that at all. At the end of the song, she does like this monologue where she's like, I'm sad and I'm lonely. And she has all of these really amazing things in her apartment, like new furniture. But then she realizes like her furniture is not going to keep her warm at night. It's not going to love her and hold her. And that's how I pretty much felt. Like I have all these amazing things. I'm in grad school. I have this great internship, but I'm lonely. It'd be like that sometimes. But thank you guys, and I'll put my social media links at the end if you want to keep up with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my blog. So feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Love you. Bye.